Hello everyone, welcome to day 27 of learning to draw. It's been a while. I've been lazy, mostly tired. As I mentioned earlier, I have come to a point in my novel. It starts to get, well, not interesting, but it is interesting, but basically the major conflict, one of the major conflicts. It's super interesting. Anyhow, today's schedule is, today's lessons consist of 30 minutes of gesture drawing, and then 30 minutes of model drawing, and then 15 minutes of memory drawing. And then we have a new exercise called reverse poses for 30 minutes, and then 1 hour of model drawing. Reverse poses is basically you look at a pose for 3 minutes, but you don't draw the pose as it is. You try to reverse the pose as if you're looking in the mirror, like the mirror image of the pose. So that's going to be a struggle, you will see. But yeah, that's basically it. Let me set up some reference and we will get right into it. 30 seconds. Going. Set the timer. 30 minutes. Let me get my pen. Alright. That's it. Okay, here we go. I've noticed that over time, as I do the gesture drawings, I have become lazy and forgotten the principle, basically, and followed too much of the shape rather than the gesture. So I had to read and remind myself to do it correctly. I have to feel like how the limbs are pushing, the gesture is pushing against, like up, if it's jumping or gravity is pulling it down or whatever. You have to feel the gesture or the tension, if the muscle is tight or loose. Good thing that I caught myself and readjusted. Because bad practice gets you nowhere. And I believe that's the reason why most people are stuck with their art. Because they keep themselves busy with bad practice. You spend 10,000 hours For example, there is a theory where it says you need 10,000 hours of practice to master a skill. But that has actually been debunked. You don't need 10,000 hours to master a skill. What you need is proper instruction and proper practice. That's why some people will spend 10 years drawing and drawing, and their skill, you know, it gets better over time, but very slowly. And then there's these people who just after 1 year of 1 or 2 years of intensive courses suddenly draw like masters or whatever, like real professionals. And that's definitely not 10,000 hours in 2 years. Let's actually calculate that real quick. Let's see here, 10,000 hours. Divided by 24. That's 416.66666 days. But that's if you are awake 24 hours for a full year and a half almost. So let's divide that by 12, which corresponds to 12 hours of practice every day. Let's do that instead. 10,000 hours divided by 12. You get 833 days. Let's divide that by 365 or 4, whatever. And you get, yeah, you get like almost 2.5 years. Two and a half years of 12 hours of practice every day. And if you do that, then you accumulate 10,000 hours to master the skill. Right? But you have some people who spend 10 years, not necessarily 12 hours a day, but they spend 12 years, 10 years, and they get nowhere with their skill, and they don't understand why. And then you have people who take courses, like 1 year course, and they basically become professionals working as concept artists or whatever. Working as professional concept artists, illustrators, because of proper instruction and practice was intent. And I'm speaking from my own experience. I have always wanted to draw, but I never knew where to begin. So I always assumed You just have to follow the tutorials. You know, those kind of tutorials where you draw a circle and stuff like that. But it really got me nowhere. Basically, draw a circle and now you have an anime character. Okay, but I want to do realistic stuff, right? And all the characters would look the same. So that's what I believe, that I had to do those tutorials. And it got me nowhere. And I think a lot of people are doing the same. And sure, you can achieve some quality. Yeah, we can spend hours every day and practice, and sure, you will get somewhere. I mean, it's inevitable. But the more you practice, the better you get. But then you reach a level, like a point, where you start asking like, why are my characters so stale? Why are they so static? Why don't they express emotion? You'll be asking yourself such questions, and then you will be wondering what you can do to improve it. And then you realize you have to go back to these basics, gesture drawing, and all that stuff. And at that point, then sure, all you need to do is do these exercises, understand them, and then you're good to go, and you have a good basis. Because you have been practicing all those years to draw. It's not like you have to start all over from the beginning, so it's not necessarily wasted. Anyways, if you have noticed, I have removed the text at the bottom left of the screen, where it said make art requests, because I've been thinking about it. If you remember from the last video, where I said I was considering like, no, to stop doing requests, basically. Stop accepting requests. So today, I've been thinking about that for the last couple of days, and I came to the conclusion that yeah, it's actually better if I stop doing requests, because mainly it's a lot of time basically, and most of the requests are not necessarily going to improve my skills, which is the whole purpose of doing these exercises. Most of them are, I don't know, basically cartoons, anime and stuff like that, games. Not necessarily my type. So I don't really see the point. I don't see the value in it. And I definitely don't feel like it has improved my skills compared to these exercises and to proper studies. And they also consume, if there's a word for it, but all I can think of is creative uses. They basically drain my creativity, so I feel pretty bored. I lose like the mental stamina to do art or to write my novels, which is not a good thing. So that's another reason why I don't want to do requests anymore. They give no value to me, basically. It's basically a fun thing for my viewers to interact with me. Like a fun thing, basically. However, I've noticed that people abuse it. Well, not abuse it, but they basically come, they make a request, and then they leave. So yeah, so it's basically time consuming, and I get no benefit from it. So, and not only that, it also affects my other work, which is a big no-no. I don't want my streaming to interfere with my work, with my novel writing work. So I decided, it made sense to basically end that. Stop doing requests. And I don't know if I even want to finish the one I'm currently working on. Maybe later on in the future. But right now I don't really feel like it. I start the timer. Let's see, yes, 12 minutes remaining. So what have I been busy with? Except the novel. Yeah, I was trying to install Unreal Engine 4. I could start learning it slowly for my future game making endeavors. And I struggled for 2 days. Yeah, 2 days. It wouldn't install. When I would create a new project in C++, it would say that the compiler basically failed, and every time I tried to solve one issue, another one would occur. So after, I don't know, 10 hours of 10 hours of trying to figure it out, make it work, reading other people who had run to the same issue and how they solved it. I tried everything and it wouldn't work. So I ended up with Unity instead. I installed it and it worked without any issues. It started, I could create a C# scripts without any issues. I could open them in Visual Studio 2017 without any issues. The workflow was smooth. There was no issues. Zero damn issues. I guess I will be using Unity instead. I really wanted to use Unreal Engine. Because of Blueprint, but I also needed C++ for other stuff, for more advanced scripting, basically coding. But since it didn't work, then I guess I had to move to the other engine. And yeah, it has another thing that I liked about Unreal Engine was the built-in material shader and so many other stuff that comes with it, compared to, for example, Unity, where you have to go to the asset store and buy stuff. You have to spend like at least $200 to have the basics of what an engine should have. But I'm hoping that I can accept, for example, if I make a shader in Mental Ray, that it can be imported to Unity without me having to buy stuff from the asset store. I don't know, I haven't tried it yet. I will see if it works. I did some research on Unity. There's a lot of bad reputation. People talking bad because of the games that are made with it. But you have to understand that the fault is on many sides, basically, on many levels. Example, you have all these kids who want to make a game, so they download free assets from the marketplace, on the Unity marketplace. They put something together and then they release it. So you have this weird low quality games made easily with Unity. And imagine you have thousands of people doing this, thousands of kids. Like back in the day, you would be using a games engine. For example, a game would release a world editor, like some form of modding tools, so kids could, play with the settings, do something, and that would be it. No one would give a bad reputation to the game makers because everybody knew it was a mod, basically. It was made by amateurs who were just trying to test things out. But in the case of Unity, what you have is like a real game engine that is not associated with any game, so people are not gonna judge it as a mod. They're gonna judge it as an independent game, like a game of itself. And you have all these kids, like thousands of them, who download free assets from the marketplace. They put stuff together and mix it up, and what you get is some crappy low quality game which they then release on Steam because Steam also has this like free, you're allowed to publish your game for free and stuff like that. So you now have thousands of kids making crappy games and releasing them on Steam. And they are made easily through Unity. So that's why Unity got the bad reputation. So it's not necessarily fair to accuse Unity. But it's better now because Steam now demands that you pay like $100 to release your game. So that's good. So hopefully that will turn things around. Hey, sorry, I've been busy, but almost a month now. Dang! Hello, Nerdvids! It's been a while. How have you been doing? Yeah, it's been a while. Has it been a month? Damn, time moves fast. But yeah, I'm hoping that I can still do some high quality stuff without having to buy a lot of assets from the store or functionality. I will check it out once I'm finished with this stream. Long time no see. I'm doing fine. You? Nice to hear. Yeah, I've been doing fine as well. I have been a bit lazy with streaming. For example, we are at I'm learning to draw day 27. It should be like 35, I think. That's how many days I have missed. Basically, I have missed not 35. I think I missed 10 days or so where I should have been streaming, but I decided I didn't want to stream because I was either sick, tired, or like a headache, or I had company over, or had too much work, other things to do. I might leave soon because I bought a drone and kind of want to fly it. Cool. It's alright. Sounds like fun. Have you been drawing? Nerdvids, have you been doing any drawing lately? That's the timer. Let me just do a couple more. I have noticed that there's definitely stages once you sit down and start to draw. Here's the beginning where you don't feel like it. You basically feel cold. But then you sit down and you start drawing, you get hooked up, you get hooked on it. However, it would take a while before you are warmed up, and once you're warmed up, that's when things begin to flow. So there's definitely a process. It's definitely true for any kind of work, actually. For example, you wake up, you go to work, you drive there, you start the car, you first of course wake up, eat breakfast, go out to the cars, open it, sit in it, start it, everything feels boring and heavy. But then you start driving to your work. And then once you're at the workplace, you meet the people, you have a chat, begin to warm up more, you do some assignments, and then after a couple assignments, like 30 minutes, 1 hour into it, everything begins to flow and you're having fun basically at work. And that's how time flies, and that's how you get things done. But if you're gonna sit down then complain, oh I don't feel like doing this, then you go do something else, then you go back to it and you have the same feeling, oh I can't do this anymore, like I don't really feel like it. Like you do like 30 minutes only and you get tired, you don't feel like doing anymore. You stand up, go do something else, then you get back to it again and the process repeats. If you do that, then what you will end up with is less work done. You'll accomplish less, and the quality of the work will not be that great because you didn't allow yourself to get into the zone, basically. So that's what I have noticed with drawing as well. Same as any other work. You have to sit down and really get into it. No matter how tired you feel, or bored, or whatever. Alright, that's enough of gesture drawing. Let's see. Yes, but I dropped my laptop, so I need to say up to get a new one. Oh! That's a shame. How did you drop it? Damn, that sucks. Gesture 30 minutes. Okay, let's see what's next. We have model drawing for 30 minutes. Let's see, let's do faces. Should I do animals? No, I'm gonna do faces. This looks complicated. Alright, I'm gonna do this one. Let me switch to my other monitor. This. Oops. Alright. And as usual, I have to change the size, the opacity, the flow, enable pen pressure, and then go to the size and disable pen pressure. Very important. And reduce opacity to 0.2. Alright. So the initial stage is like as usual, we are pretending to be sculpting. We are sculpting now. We start the timer and we begin by taking clay basically and building. We build it up into a mass. And the more mass there is, the more clay we put basically. So and we can represent that by making our strokes darker. So for example, there is a nose here. This is the eyebrow area. He has his hand on the side of his face. Goes down. Basically building the mass. And try to do this quickly. Gonna do the arm, rather the hand. Really separate it. Even at this stage, try to keep the angles correct and try to follow the shape. Okay, that's actually cheating because never mind. Okay, so there we go. Now have opacity at 100. That's the only thing we have to change. Now we go in. Okay, so what we first did was inside. Like we don't look at the surface. We don't consider the surface at all. We're just filling a 3D space with clay. So what we do now is we focus on the surface with different tools. So for example, in the previous, as we were filling this up, I can show you here again. As we were filling it up, imagine you were using your hands and you're pushing clay into this blob, and now you're taking knives and rakes and whatever kinds of tools, and you're going shape the surface, giving shape to the surface. And dark represents surface going away from us, and really dark represents surface that bends away from us, like behind the surface. For example, the side of the head. Here's the forehead. So it goes in. Oh, I am following the contour of the left face, the left side of the face. Doesn't have to be perfect. That's that. Right, becomes darker because it's inside. And then we have edge here, the ridge of the nose. It's dark as well because the surface bends away from us. So it's basically here. I will fix that later. It's just averaging the ratios. I'm just glancing at it, not really putting it down like a final like its final size or position or shape. Just putting things down. Let's do one of the eyes. Basically has the eyelid, it bends the lower eyelid. Looks like this here. Then there's an eyelid here. Let's do the upper eyelid actually. This part here, it bends. It's dark like this because the surface bends like this, and then the eye comes like this, and it is the same with the lower eyelid. We do the lower eyelid. And it disappears. The eye pops out here. Here we can. Go, let's erase. So now that we have that part, so let's do the nose more proper. Like this thing here. Let's do the other eye. Okay, I can just see that the portions are incorrect, but I'm not gonna fix it. Darken this. And when you darken, try to follow the shape, because we are now at the surface. So but when you were doing the initial stage, then when the focus was within the shape, within the, like inside the surface, beneath the surface, then you shouldn't follow the surface, because that wouldn't make any sense. I mean, you could, but from the exercise's point of view, then no. It is lagging. So yeah, I have the window open. I hope it's not too annoying. I forgot to check and make sure that the sounds are not caught by the microphone. But there's basically a lot of cars driving outside. There we go, up here. And that's a truck driving. Basically he's pushing the skin on the side of his head upwards. So these are supposed to be skin folds. Let's do the mouth. So what I'm gonna do is moving away from us. Shape. Further from us. The lip, the mouth area is further away from us from this compared to the nose. And this side of the nose This is darker. Go. You definitely make this a little bit lighter. Well, not necessarily that lighter. Go. So yeah, let's do the mouth. That's edge. Goes like this. Gonna make the inside. No, I don't know. Well, that's not accurate, but I'm gonna move with it anyway. Then we have the inside of the lower lip. Slightly open, the mouth is open. This. Darken that up. Gonna erase a bit here. Here. Go. And then this darker. Let's do the hand now. See how much we have left. 13 minutes. Yeah, I think we can do the hand. Let's do it like this. We carve. surface here, basically carving it out, pushing it away. Because it is further away from us after all. And then this is the pinky finger. It is closer to us. I'm gonna do like this. Straight line, and I go down like this. Then ring finger. Whatever it's called. In here. Then the middle finger. Following the angles. So go. And then of course fingers have edges. Well, not, that's a bad thing to say. Edges don't exist. Contour, it turns away from us, so let's indicate that by pushing the clay. Right, we're pretending we are pushing the clay now, and this darker line represents that surface change, that surface bend. You have to constantly think about this, because the whole point of this exercise is to train yourself to think in 3D. In 3 dimensions. Of course we know this is not real sculpting, but trying to mimic to our best ability. Just go along with it. Don't be a prude. Don't be a smartass. Just go along with it. And that's a moped. Basically there is, I don't know if you caught it up on the microphone, but there's a moped outside. You know, kids, they cut the pipe to make it sound, to make the moped make a lot of sound from the exhaust. It's kind of funny, especially when you're walking outside and one of these mopeds drives by you, and the speed the speed they are driving at is basically a running speed. I mean, you could basically run you could run as fast as they are driving, and they make this loud noise. Really funny. It's like watching a handicapped walrus on its back. I don't know, that's sorry. No offense, but that's the image I get. When I think of these people, they must have something wrong with their brain, basically. Oh man, it's so funny. Anyways, okay, so there's basically his okay, so the thumb is actually showing. It goes up like this again. This. But anyways, his shoulder goes here. So let's do that. It's good because now we can really go in and darken this out. Push it. Make this the darkest area. And what this will allow us to do, well, it already did it for us, but it basically pushed this forward. Can I actually do some erasing here to separate it? And then go back over, make this dark, because it moves away from us. This part, thumb, there we go. That's basically that. Do the other shoulder. Goes from this here. Find the angle. Oh, my line is everywhere. So I was watching, if you remember my previous videos where I talked about the Twitch community and how toxic it is, because it's basically the League of Legends community, who mostly, because you have to realize that in the beginning the reason why Twitch grew so much is because of League of Legends, where the first streamers would use Twitch to stream League of Legends, especially the tournaments, and that's how Twitch grew. So the original, not the original, but the major viewer base is from Twitch, from League of Legends rather. It's the League of Legends community, and that's why it's so toxic. It basically explains everything. And so yeah, I was watching the stream yesterday, a gaming stream of a tournament in Arma 3, a fun game actually. And there were these people spamming racial slurs, very anti-Semitic stuff about Jews and Arabs and whatever. And that's actually normal on Twitch. So that's pretty sad. I mean, I have seen it on YouTube as well, so I think Twitch and YouTube has to stop counting money and start doing something. Otherwise, the only solution would be like a world, or like in Orwell, like Orwell's 19, forgot the name, 48, whatever. Where the government basically controls people's minds, cameras everywhere. And there have been proposed laws to control the internet. So maybe like if these companies don't take responsibility and prevent these hate groups from abusing their services without punishment, then the world will slowly move towards a very like, I can't explain it, can't even pronounce it, like totalitarian state, basically, where no one has any freedom. But personally, I would actually accept if the internet required, like, for you to access the internet, you will have to supply your real identity. I mean, I think that's good enough, because the internet is, after all, a public place, and I don't really find an issue with that. Like, if you could have like an internet police, basically, where they could ask you for identification. But that's basically what Facebook and stuff already do. Facebook asks you for your identity, basically, but it doesn't ask for proof. But it does require that you supply it with your real name and where you live and stuff like that. Not necessarily, but of course you can avoid that. But still, you still need an email or whatever. And some email providers, they demand a name and address where you live. But of course, some people, they don't supply the real name or the real country. So there's still like loopholes. I don't know if it's an issue with the law. They're trying to avoid being sued or whatever. But I would personally accept if there were law that demanded that every user on the internet had to verify their identity. but that's the maximum. Like no more than that. I don't accept. There was this law recently where they tried to push a law that would allow internet service providers to manipulate your internet experience, your browsing experience. So companies would buy, for example, ads from the internet service provider, and when you go to the internet, you will see their products without you ever asking for it or searching for it. It will basically be like Google, but more intrusive, and you wouldn't have any power to affect it. Like no ad block will ever work because the ads would be basically part of your internet. I think that was crazy. That was a crazy proposal. It would like be completely unfair to people, to companies who can't afford big advertising budgets. And it would also be like those posters you see on bus stations, at bus stops. You would basically have one of those right in your face every day. That's basically it. That's basically what that proposal was. Yeah, that's crazy. No thanks. But I do support a demand for verification when you use the internet. And if you're under the age of 18, then you must have your parents' permission. Well, okay, not... okay, no, you don't need that? I don't know. Maybe 13, I don't know. For example, you wouldn't let your kid, your child, like 6-year-old, go out in the city alone. Same thing with the internet. If it becomes more like a public place. And then when someone commits a crime on the internet, then you just tell the police, and the police will find them, arrest them, and they will have to pay a fine, like in real life. For example, League of Legends, I played a game and people were telling me to go blow myself up and calling me a terrorist and stuff like that, which is very offensive, but I couldn't do anything. And Riot didn't do anything. Riot didn't take responsibility, which is a shame, because it's breaking their own terms of service, where it states that no one is to be discriminated for playing the game, basically. And I was being discriminated against, but they didn't care. I also was banned a couple times because of my name, which is Ahmad. So basically what happened is people in the game would report me after throwing racist slurs at me. They would report me, and in the report they would write, his name is Ahmad, or some other racist things. And then they are using a tribunal system, so this report goes to a regular player, not to a staff from Riot. So what happens is, so this guy that is using the tribunal, he receives this report and he sees the text, oh, his name is Ahmad, and perhaps he is a racist himself. So he decides to punish. And that's how I have received most of my bans from League of Legends. And I contacted Riot, and their response was they didn't see any problem with that. So I'm assuming they hired a racist as well. It's kinda sickening, and there's nothing I can do about it. But however, if there was a demand for example, identity before you can use the internet, then I would just go to the police, report it, and they would check it out, and I can sue the person. That would be great. It would also reduce a lot of nonsense on the internet and stupidity. Because I've seen some really stupid stuff. And it's always by anonymous people. But all that would disappear. All that would disappear in an instant if there was a demand for verifying your identity before you can use the internet. But until then, you just have to deal with these crazy people. Racists and, I don't know, hateful, weird scum. Anyways, so I'm done with this one. Let's see what the next is. Okay, next exercise is memory drawing. 15 minutes. Okay, my cell phone is stuck. Come on. Alright, so let's rename this modeled drawing. I think we spent more than 30 minutes. Let's say 35 minutes. And now we will do memory drawing. 15 minutes. Let's see. Let's put up some reference. I remember last time it went really bad. It's 30 seconds per model. So let's see how this goes. Basically look at the model and Try to feel the pose within your own body. Don't wave with your hand, trying to draw it in the air. Just focus, try to mimic how it would feel like to be in that position, in that pose yourself. Like how would your limbs feel like? Like the tension, the muscles, where the pressure is. It's not easy, but they are helpful. I'm on the third pose now, and I have completely forgotten the first two. Alright, so I'm going with the third one, because it's the only one I remember at the moment. Something like this. And then the first one I don't remember at all. I don't remember. The second one. The second one was the same model as the third one, so it's a bit confusing. Really confusing. No, I can't remember it. I forgot to set the timer. Damn it. Yeah, I don't remember it. Let's move on. The next set of poses. Actually, I received 2 followers, so let's check them out. While I was vodcasting, Wehbe and let's see, Cosmic Punisher. Thank you for the follow. Okay, let's see. Oh, this pose was really complex and crazy. Okay, let's see if I can remember these. Let's do the first one, it was really crazy. More like a spider than a human. Then the second one, remember it? Think. So, and then the third one. Basically, yeah, something like this. Definitely not perfect, but whatever. Okay, let's do another 3. Tired. Very sleepy. I don't think I slept actually. I remember just staying awake and thinking all night. I don't recall falling asleep at all. And I don't think I ever woke up. Like, you know when you go to sleep, you wake up and you realize you have fallen asleep. You had slept. I never did that this morning. I think I just stayed up all night thinking. Okay, let's see. So we have this. And wow. Well, that sucks. I don't remember. Let's do another 3. You're supposed to improve with time. Like every time you do this exercise, you will remember more and better, and then you move up to 4 poses, 5 poses. But I seem stuck at 2. My memory is really bad. My short-term memory. Hey, I keep yawning. I'm on the last pose. Okay, let's see what we have. This. Basically reminds me of the last one I did. Another one sitting and relaxing. And then there was this. And then the last one was pretty creepy. Alright. We have 6 more minutes. Let's do 3 more. And the third one. Hey, see if we can do this. Um, 2, 3 more. Alright, let's see. I completely forgot. Let's do the last one I saw. Basically 2 people dancing. Excuse me. Oh, what happened now? Okay. That ruined my flow. This. Okay. So, what was the first and the second? I don't remember. Yeah, they're completely gone. And the time is up, so... Yeah, that sucks. I hope you guys are doing better than me. Memory... let's gonna call it memory. 15 minutes. I'm gonna take a short break. Be right back. And I'm back. Yeah, let's see what's next. Okay, so it's the reverse poses now for 30 minutes. And as I explained, basically look at the pose for 3 minutes and try to draw the opposite, like the reversed, as if you were looking at the pose in the mirror, or rather the mirror image of the pose. So let's see, I prepared some reference. Let me just read the exercise explanation. Just to be 100% accurate. Okay, so during a 3-minute pose, make a gesture drawing of that pose as it would look in reverse. So it's a gesture drawing basically, but in reverse. Okay, so first, for 3 minutes, you draw the gesture of the mirrored image basically, and then the model is supposed to take, like, reverse his pose to resemble what it would look like, and then you draw that, and then you compare basically what you drew, what you thought the mirror would look like, and then compare it to how it really looks like. So what you need for this, if you're using photos and you don't have access to our real life model, is basically download a couple of photos. I have 10 of them. And then what you do is usually the application that you can view photos in, you can reverse, I think, the photo and see how that looks like. Let me see if I can actually do that. I guess not. Well, that sucks. Okay, so you have to basically open them in a different application, not the standard Windows image viewer. Okay, so let's do this. Go in here. Okay, so I have it set up. That's one image. I'm gonna actually load all images, make this less cumbersome. So all these delays are getting a bit annoying. I'm almost done here. Give me a minute, second actually. Okay, so in 3 minutes you have to draw the gesture reversed, and then you reverse the image, or you tell the model to take the reversed pose, and then you redraw it on a new sheet of paper, and then you compare the two. All that within 3 minutes per pose. So here we go. Does this, open my drawing application, and actually I'm gonna change my to the left monitor. Okay, so hit start on the timer, and here we go. Oh, this is difficult. Wow, okay, so something like this. What? Wait a minute. No, that's not correct. I think my brain is hurting right now. Anyways, that's one. And let's reverse it. It's the image, rotate, flip horizontal. Gonna that, and now I'm gonna draw something like so. Let's compare the two. So yeah, the angles are completely different. Yeah, they are different. The angles are... Well, actually I did capture some of it. So let's see. Okay, it's not that bad, but okay, so let's move on to the next. Close, don't save. Okay, so this is a more complex. It's really strange. Wow. So weird. So basically, I'm starting with the head. It's facing me, but I have to make it facing the other way. It's wearing a cap. Crazy. I have no idea how the the left arm looks like. I'm just gonna guess. So basically the left arm becomes the right arm. So this is the right arm. As I'm trying to pose it as in the reference. But yeah, confusing. This, I guess. This is so weird. so, and then the other leg. So, and then the other arm. Yeah, that's what's really confusing. Let's flip it. Image, flip horizontal. Well, okay, that was confusing. Well, actually I messed up, so... And they don't look the same at all. My brain betrayed me. To the next. A2C TV, hello! Hello and welcome to the best stream in the world. Okay, so there's this one now. How are you doing today, Mr. AC? A2C TV? A2C? Is that a chemical compound? Are you a chemical? There we go. Let's flip the image, see what happens. Okay, I think Yeah, bro, how are you? I'm fine. I'm streaming. I decided to stop being lazy. I'm done in 1 hour and 20 minutes. Let's say 30 minutes. Just to be safe. So that's that. Yeah. That's that. Be right back. Alright, that concludes this exercise. Let me group the layers. We call this reverse pose 50, no, it was actually 30 minutes. It was an interesting exercise. It was, I mean, it really made you think, try to figure things out, so anything that makes you think is a good thing. So yeah, but I'm not looking forward to it. Not looking forward to do this exercise again. However, the book does mention and suggests that I do this exercise like daily, like homework basically, draw anything like from real life and stuff like that. Of course I will consider it in the future, like a fun thing basically. But for now, let's move on. Close that. Next exercise is what's up with my pronunciation? Okay, it's model drawing for 1 hour. So I'm gonna mute the microphone, and because I'm talking on Discord, but it's basically the same thing as earlier. Just pretend you're sculpting, go in, first fill it with a mass, like take clay and build a mass, big mass, the average overall shape in 3D basically, in all dimensions. And then you go in and start carving out the surface. That's what I'm gonna do now. Back to my brush. Let's see if the settings were saved. Good. Oh, oops. Okay, the settings are not saved. So quick. So I'm just gonna pick a reference and set the timer, and then I will start working. So I'm gonna mute the microphone now. Alright, I'm back. I think I'm gonna finish here. There's not much more to do, to add. I could add the neck and some cloth. But it would just be a repetition, so I will spare you guys that and just end the video here. I hope you liked it, enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.